Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, this is Deacon Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice. And we are going through some very, very difficult times in life today. You go back over 2 years ago when the COVID war began, who would have believed that governments around the world would decide to lock down people? No scientific evidence to do it, just political science that robbed us of our freedom. But we had to look up to the authorities. They tell us what to do. There's no freedom. Freedom of choice? No, it's not yours. They're in charge. They are better than us and higher than us. This is Friday's Wall Street Journal front page. UK celebrates Queen Elizabeth II's 7 decades on throne. Oh, the Queen is on a throne. We are nothing. We have no thrones. We're just vassals. We pay them, the high and the mighty, the Queen, the presidents, the chancellors, the prime ministers. They are nobility. Red carpets are rolled out for them anytime one goes to another country, saluting. And you look at these pictures of these little clowns dressed up in their costumes with medals and chains and ribbons for all that they've done. It's mind control. The Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice is anti-authoritarian. It's pro-human spirit. This is a disgrace that here we are in the 21st century, and this is what is being looked upon as so wonderful and grand, as people are starving all over the world, wars going on, and hundreds of millions displaced. Britain's Queen Elizabeth II on Thursday appears with family members on the balcony of Buckingham Palace as part of the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Aren't we all happy? God save the Queen. And the rest of us, you could live in hell. It's the way of the world. The man that freaked everybody out way back when, in the 1980s with AIDS, that wasn't killing people like they said it was. Anthony Fauci, the richest paid public servant, a little man of strong power, created, also gave us the fear of the COVID war. He was on Fox last week talking about the mask mandates and whether or not they'll be preserved on airlines. Science had nothing to do with it. Speaking with Fox host Neil Cavuto, Fauci, quote, "One of the issues, Neil, that I have articulated in the past, and I will in the future. I have articulated, and I will in the future, and you will listen. Because you have no brains, you have no freedom, and I am going to tell you exactly why you don't." And he goes on to prove it. It's less about mandates on the plane. It's less about mandates. In other words, it doesn't mean anything about science. You ready? Than it is about Who has the right and the authority? Who has the right and the authority and capability of making public health decisions? Who has the right and the authority and the capability with nothing but a track record of failures? You have no authority over the people. You have an authority to abide by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution in a country near you. No, no. They are nobility. They are above us. So it's more of a matter of principle, of where the authority lies, than it is whether or not there's going to be a mandate on the plane. Science has nothing to do with it. It's principle and where the authority lies. Again, the authority lies with the nobility. We have become nothing more than plantation workers of the global plantation of Slavelandia. I was thinking today, the United States spends more in education than any other country. We don't even win place or show for OECD recognition in math, in science, in reading, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development Nations. You spend all of this money and all of this time being brainwashed by the authorities so you could work at Walmart, possibly at McDonald's, got a good job at Target. Why not Lowe's? No, I say Home Depot. What about driving a FedEx truck, an Amazon truck, or UPS truck? Jobs that you didn't have to go to school for. You didn't have to give your life up and learn a bunch of things that the government wants you to learn that didn't grow your brain. As the entire society goes down, they're better than we are. The Wall Street Journal on Thursday, excuse me. Sandberg set to exit Meta post in fall. Oh, this woman's leaving her job at Meta, formerly called Facebook. That's big news. She is so important. These are the authorities. They are the ones that could tell us what we can say, what we can say, and how we should say it. The authorities that keep waging wars, as with the Ukraine war. Earlier in the week, the U.S. unveiled a $700 million military aid package for Ukraine as fighting rages in the Donbass, And the United States Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, not a boy that went to the public schools, a daddy's boy, went to Dalton and Harvard. He said, quote, U.S. military assistance will strengthen Ukraine's position to defend its sovereignty and territories, integrity, secure victories on the battlefield. $700 million. United Kingdom will give Ukraine rocket systems capable of hitting targets about 50 miles away, Defense Secretary said. That's on Wednesday. Ukrainians will get truncated U.S. rocket training. That was on Wednesday. U.S. cyber chief admits to attacks against Russia and Ukraine. This was on Thursday. We've conducted a series of operations across a full spectrum, offensive, defensive, and informational operations. According to the general, He said on CNN also he'll provide, quote, a flashlight that suddenly exposes this type of behavior. This is NSA Director General Paul Nakasone admitting. Ukraine, this is from DW News out of Germany. Zelensky says potential for turning point in war. This was on Wednesday. Peace isn't free, said German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock. We will continue to support Ukraine until there are no more bukas, Baerbock wrote, referring to the Kiev suburb that Ukraine alleges was the site of Russian war crimes. Putin is counting on Russian endurance and us getting exhausted, she said. This is why we need to continue to support Ukraine, and it will be done with, quote, weapons. Peace isn't free. Those are demonic words. Peace is free. It is not gained by military weapons. It is gained through the spirit and the soul of the heart, the mind, and the body. It is God-given to us, free. This is demonic, satanic language that she should be called out for. This is terrible to say. Peace isn't free and only war can win. And as I just read all of those quotes from Blinken, that military assistance will strengthen Ukraine's position. More armaments must come from Germany, from the United States, from the UK. The UK stands with Ukraine and has taken a leading role in supplying its heroic troops with vital weapons they need to defend the country, the Defense Secretary of the UK said. On Friday, Russia controls 20% of Ukraine. Vladimir Zelensky, who played a comedian on TV playing the role of the Ukraine president, that is now the Ukraine president, announced. This is the same Zelensky that said they were going to win. This is the same Blinken who said that all these weapons were going to stop Russia, as well as the German woman and the man from the UK. Meanwhile, the Lugansk regional governor, Sergei Gaiday, G-A-I-D-A-Y, vowed that Ukrainian forces will, quote, fight until the end. The end. No peace, fight to the end. This is the cover of the internationally renowned Trends Journal magazine back a while ago, when the Ukraine war broke out. Just when it broke out, negotiate for peace or rest in peace. And this man would rather rest in peace, fight until the end. Again, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said on Wednesday that his country could turn the war around with more modern weapons. Isn't that nice? And the German Foreign Minister, Annalena Baerbock, said, we will continue to support Ukraine, and this will be done, quote, with weapons, end quote. They used to say if only women were in charge, there would be no war. Good and bad comes in men, women, white, black, green, yellow, every race, creed, and color. Total hypocrisy. It was Madeleine Albright, former United States ambassador to the United Nations, who said during an interview with Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes, after Bill Clinton's actions against Iraq had killed over 500,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5, if the price was worth it. And she said, yes, it was. It was Hillary Clinton on TV when she was asked how she felt when Muammar Gaddafi, because of the war launched by Sarkozy in France, Cameron in the UK, and Barack Obama in the United States, that overthrew the government of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, which was the richest country in Africa, that's now a hellhole. How she felt when she heard that Gaddafi was killed. She said, we came, we saw, he died. One after another. Samantha Power, Susan Rice, Hillary Clinton, they were the ones behind pushing that war. Condoleezza Rice, under George Bush, who started the Iraq War. The next mushroom cloud you see, she warned us, that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Lied. Again, they say if only women were in charge, if only people that were fighting evil were in charge, we'd have a different world. Evil persists. The fish rots from the head down. And the heads of state are rotten fish by their deeds and words. You can know that. Ukraine may have to give up some land in negotiated settlement, President Joseph Biden said today. Yep. Biden said he will not tell Kiev how to proceed, but, quote, it appears to me that at some point along the line, there's going to have to be a negotiated settlement here. I said that from the beginning, before the war started. You can have a negotiated settlement after you just lost over 20% of the land. The more you lose, the weaker you get. When you negotiate before the fight starts, you have a better chance of getting a better deal. These are the people that have sent $56 billion of deadly weapons just in the United States, from Germany, from the Netherlands, from the UK. Billions and billions of deadly weapons when you could have negotiated for peace before the war started. Everything that has been destroyed, these beautiful old buildings that I see, people's lives ruined, everything they worked for gone, and dead and gone. When you could have negotiated for peace. But Biden, Johnson, Boris Johnson, the Chancellor of Germany, one after another, Zelensky, Russia will not win. As I said, if Napoleon couldn't beat the Russians and left Poland with 420,000 men in 1812 and came back with 10,000, 420,000 men, 410,000 of them died. Operation Barbarossa by Adolf Hitler in World War II killed over 25 million Russians, and the Russians defeated the Germans. So how is a tiny country like Ukraine going to win? A country of 40 million against a country of 140 million. That is heavily armed with very advanced weaponry. More advanced than the United States with their hypersonic missiles. It's not a backward nation. We called for peace in the very beginning, and it fell on deaf ears. Peace is a dirty word. Not a word about coming from Biden about peace. No, a negotiated settlement. And what that entails, I don't know. I don't think anybody does at this time. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to put the Ukrainians in a position where they can defend themselves, sending them more deadly weapons. This is evil. It is evil, demonic, and satanic. And that's who's running our world. The Brazilian Lula da Silva, who's running for president. He was the president of Brazil. He's running again. He said, Biden, who has never made a speech to give $1 to those who are starving in Africa, announces $40 billion to help Ukraine buy weapons. This can't be, he said, with an exclamation point. We had noted that this Lula had criticized Zelensky before the war started and when the war started and said he didn't want peace. He didn't want to negotiate. He goes, and now we are going to have to foot the bill because the war in Ukraine is hurting everyone. Argentina and Bolivia will also have to pay, he said. You're not punishing Vladimir Putin. You're punishing many different countries. You're punishing mankind. Amen and amen. Mankind is being punished. We all are with this war. Gasoline prices are going through the roof. Inflation's skyrocketing. Economies are going down. Hunger all over the world. For what? For what? Sanctions of uselessness. Of evil people. By thy deeds you shall know them. They send weapons of death to keep bloodying the killing fields. Biden makes fervent plea, how much more carnage are we willing to accept? Oh, was he talking about the Ukraine war? No. He was talking about the sick young man that slaughtered those people in Texas. Gun control. The fish rots from the head down. If we're going to have gun control, let's start at the top. Stop sending deadly weapons to kill millions. Stop starting wars that cost trillions and kill millions. What makes this young, sick boy, and they don't know, we haven't found out what kind of prescription drugs he was on. Was he on antidepressants? We do know he came from a family that wasn't very stable. And he played those violent video games. How about banning those? How about banning those, quote, action movies from Hollywood that slaughter people by the hundreds and thousands? How about banning that rap music, that angry, violent rap music that ingratiates the soul with violence? How about control of that? How about that kind of mind control? Gun control, anybody could get a gun anytime they want it. All this will do is rob the people of their freedom and the ability to protect themselves. There's a story in the New York Times, seeking clues why gunmen are so young. Most recent suspects were under 21. Gun control. These are young people out of their minds. And you, the United States of America, have done it to society with your murderous actions and your thievery that have robbed from the poor and given to the rich, that have made the bigs bigger, the military-industrial complex more deadly, and Big Pharma taking away the spirit of Mother Nature and natural healing. The worst is yet to come if we do not unite for peace. And I'm working very, very hard to have a freedom, peace, and justice rally this mid-July It's going positive at this point, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. And when I begin it, it's not going to end until we have freedom, peace, and justice in the American spirit and the national spirit of every country around the world, and mostly the godly spirit. Thank you for tuning in.